Hello Balsa Bashers, here we go with a short film about some of the things you'll need to get going with. And first thing I'd like to show you here is this piece of metal. It's about 8 inches long and about 1.25 inches wide, and it has 2 grades of grit on it. And true to its name, it's made by the people called Permagrit, and it is utterly fabulous. They do many different shapes and sizes and many different densities of grit. So if you really want to get into aeromodelling, this stuff is not cheap, but it's probably the best. This one's about 25 years old now, and it's starting to get a bit clogged and worn. You see it's wearing around the edges, but it's done me very well. It's made a lot of aeroplanes, and I donated one to my partner, my wife, for doing, you know, nails and that sort of thing. One of the smaller, finer ones. It works really well and they last forever. It's not like the ones you get at the chemist for doing that. So that's something you're going to need. Again, available at most hobby stores. Right, next thing. Put that slightly over there. My hairy arm's in the way. Next thing you're going to need is something to cut wood with. Now this is a Swan Morton. It's actually a scalpel. I'm not sure if they ever did operations with this particular design, but Swan Morton do make scalpels for medical use. These come with an interchangeable blade, and this is a number 10A, which is a fairly short, stubby blade. They come in very fine. If you push it off like that, it comes away from the handle, and you get your new blade, and you slide it on. Don't do that. Not good. You slide it on. It goes click. Nearly. Do this. There we go. Stuck in the bench. You'll need this for trimming wood, for cutting out parts if they're not already pre-cut, for cutting strip, getting your sheet to size together with the Permagrit, or just some sandpaper that I showed you. Okay. Next thing is this. Now this you'll recognise because everybody's seen the large ones. It's called a mitre block, and to go with a mitre block you'll need a razor saw. This again is an X-Acto handle, another famous make of scalpel, and this is the large size, so it cuts either, get it to go in there, 90 degrees or 45 degrees either way. And happily that's all it does. It does the 90 and the 45. You can get adjustable ones. They're quite expensive. These are all X-Actos. So again, another useful piece of kit. Now here's something that'll probably surprise you. Get it in the camera. What are these? These are cocktail sticks. And these are worth their weight in gold. If you're an aero modeler and you can't find a use for a cocktail stick, so there you go. Personally, I started using them for reinforcing the flat pin hinges on control surfaces. If you put the pin hinge in, or even the oh dear, I think hinges is something we need to do separately. But use these to go through the control surface, through the hinge and out the other side, trim them off, and when you cover it you can't see them. It makes the hinge not want to come out. Okay, and there's something else. What on earth is that, you say? This is a little tray. It's actually a pie tray, and it's got all sorts of rubbish in here, but mostly it's my pin box. And these are T-pins. This is a bent T-pin. Let's put it in camera shot. And these you can get the ones with the glass bead on. I have had a couple of those go through my finger. The glass bead breaks and they go through your thumb, and it hurts, believe me. So here's another one. There's quite a lot in here. There's a couple of hundred of the things in there, and a couple of different sizes. So I'll get this thing to focus. There we go. T-pins. Pins are an absolute necessity for building model aircraft. So there's a couple of bits and pieces. Right, let's have a go at the adhesives. The first one I'll show you, the most common type used in aeromodeling these days, is the cycloanorate. I'm saying that correctly? I'll read it back. Ethyl cyanoacrylate. That's what it's called. Be honest with you, it's deadly stuff. You can get, what's the word for it? Not addicted to it. It's not that sort of smell. Allergic to it. That's the word. This is a medium cyano, which means it'll gap filling, it says, but it doesn't actually fill gaps so that you can see. But it will fill a slight gap that you know, like a human hair's thickness. And they do. It says on this, it will bond virtually anything, works on oily surfaces, which is great for repairing your model at the field, especially if it's dripping with glow fuel residue. These are quite expensive. This little 1 ounce one was about a £5. Can't remember now, the price has come off. And it's getting on a bit. It's a bit long in the tooth. If you look carefully, you can see it wobbling around in there. Although it says it's a medium, it's still quite thin. I've only ever had one bottle in my life of the actual thin stuff, and that came and went all over my hand, and it took me days to get it off. It will come off, but by God, it takes some time. And this is a joint made about an hour ago with this. I've used the offcut that I did in the mitre block as a little fillet. Makes the joint much stronger, and you can see I'm actually giving it quite a good pull. There you are. So that's cycloanorate. It's deadly stuff. It will stick you to your board, it will stick you to yourself. If you get it in your eyes, you're screwed. It's terrible stuff, but if you're careful with it, you're fine. Next one in line is aliphatic resin. It's a little bit like white glue, only it's yellow. And you use it much the same way as white glue. You can see it rolling around in there. It's quite thick. It's got good grab properties. The aliphatic, it's slightly better grab properties than actual white glue. And here's a joint, as they say, I made earlier. Turn it round and give it a wiggle. And that's about an hour. They reckon it takes 24 hours to cure properly, but after about an hour you can handle it, and it's quite strong. It does soak in nicely, it doesn't dry very quickly. So that's aliphatic resin. This is 112 grams and it cost $3.99 about a year ago. I've had this quite a while now. I'll show you why in a minute. Put that to one side and bring out the third actual joint. This joint, again, about an hour ago. It's not in shot, there we go. It's quite firm, it's got a little fillet in again, and it is this stuff. Oh, Gorilla Glue. I think I need to pull back out a little bit to get this in shot. Is it going to pull out a bit? No, it isn't. Okay. Now, this is not the Gorilla Wood Glue that we all love and care about. This is actually one that doesn't foam up. I bought the wrong one, to be honest, but no, I've got it. This is works much the same way as ordinary PVA white glue does. Gorilla say it's better, but it's about the same. Looks the same, it smells the same, and it does the same job. So, very good stuff, mind you. And put that to one side. Again, that's about now 24 hours to go off. Now, if you make a lot of models, now what is this? I'm going to have to move the whole shooting match back here and do that. There we are. That's 5 litres, or just over an imperial gallon, of PVA glue. This is the traditional white wood glue. This is adhesive primer and sealer, it says, and it's made by Sika. And Sika, yes, S-I-K-A. It's called Sikabond PVA Plus. This is the stuff builders use in house construction. They paint walls with it before they plaster. Sometimes nicknamed Bondo in the trade, but it's brilliant stuff. You can use it as a paint primer on difficult walls and things like that. Anywhere you got a bit of damp or something like that, it'll seal it, and you can put paint on. But it is absolutely brilliant glue. The reason I haven't made a joint to show you is I couldn't get the top off. I tried everything, but what I need to do is get a crescent wrench on it or something, or a pipe wrench. It'll come off. It's that good. It does the plastic it's in. But brilliant adhesive, and I use a lot of this. Hence the 5 litres. So let's put this back. There we go. And put it back at its feet. Put that out of the way. Oh dear. Right. What else can I show you while we're up and running here? Oh, come on, you. Oh, I bought myself a new toy for my lathe. There we go. This. Now, I've only got a little tiny lathe, so this is quite a ginormous thing. I'm actually making, nothing to do with air modelling, I know. I'm actually making a bracket to hold my shower head. This horrible little plastic ones, and I needed this to do a 20mm hole. 20mm is a little bit too small to do with the boring bar on the lathe, so we've got that done. Right, so that's it. We'll show you next video. I'm doing my best to get better at this, I really am. Next video is we're actually going to make a start on the model, and the first thing we're going to be doing is the empennage, or the tail feathers. I hope that we're going to get on well with this, and that it's going to be interesting for you. I know I drone on a bit, and I'm really trying to get it sorted out so it's a bit slicker. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And those of you that do, and tell all your friends about it, and we'll see how we get on.